owners benefited are included within the limits of said proposed district. And D, it is in the public interest to establish the Southeast Ambulance District 1 as a benefit district within the town. Section 2, the resolution shall take effect immediately.
I second. Roll call vote, please, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Rice?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
If I could just, for the people, the audience and at home, what this is about is there was a portion of the town of Southeast, I believe it was close to 70 parcels that were previously serviced by the North Salem Volunteer Ambulance Corps. The town board felt that going forward it would make more sense to have the Brewster Fire Department cover this area. So this area is outside of the Brewster Fire District. It's actually in the Croton Falls Fire District. So this is a way for the Brewster Fire Department to recoup costs involved with servicing this area now as part of their ambulance area that they're going to cover. But it will still be serviced by the Croton Falls Fire Department.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I'd like to commend and thank the Brewster Fire Department commissioners for working with everyone and with the town to extend ambulance coverage to this district. Now, Will, there's a second resolution establishing the district. I suppose we need to read that tonight, too.
Yeah, the one that you can probably avoid having to go through the process of reading is the final order and just vote on that. The way the law reads is you have to make certain findings of fact, then you have to adopt a resolution establishing the district. And that's why there's the two resolutions, and then the third is the order, which is something gets recorded ultimately.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Yee, would you continue, please?
Resolution establishing the Southeast Ambulance District Number 1, May 19, 2011. Whereas pursuant to the town law, the town board of the town of Southeast, Putnam County, New York, has caused a map and plan to be prepared and filed in the office of the clerk of the said town in relation to the establishment of the Southeast Ambulance District Number 1 in said town. And whereas an order was duly adopted by said town board on February 24, 2011, reciting a description of the boundaries of said proposed district by tax map designation, the improvements proposed, the proposed method of financing the services to be provided, the fact that the said map and plan were on file with the town clerk's office for public inspection, and specifying the 24th day of March 2011 at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time at the Civic Center located at 1360 Route 22, Southeast Brewster, New York, as the time, when, and the place where said town board would meet for the purpose of holding a public hearing to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same. And whereas such order was duly published and posted in a manner and within the time prescribed by the town law, and proof of said publication and posting has been duly presented to said town board. And whereas said public hearing was duly held at the time, place set forth in said order, as foresaid, at which all persons desiring to be heard were duly heard, and whereas said public hearing was closed on March 24, 2011, and whereas following said public hearing and based upon evidence given thereat, said town board duly adopted a resolution of even date herewithin, determining in the affirmation all the questions set forth in Section 194, Subdivision 1 of the town law. And whereas it is now desired to adopt a resolution pursuant to town law approving the establishment of said district, the improvements proposed, and the rendering of services required in connection therewith. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Southeast, Putnam County, New York, as follows. Section 1, the establishment of the Southeast Ambulance District Number 1 in the town of Southeast, Putnam County, New York, pursuant to the proceedings undertaken in accordance with town law and the statutes of the state of New York, to be known as Southeast Ambulance District 1, to be bounded and described as set forth in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and made a part hereof, the improvements proposed and the rendering of services required in connection therewith, all as more fully described in the map and report herein before described, as hereby approved and authorized. Section 2, the town clerk is hereby ordered and directed within 10 days of the adoption of this resolution to record a certified copy of this resolution with the clerk of County of Putnam, and 2, file a certified copy of this resolution with the Office of the Department of Audit and Control in Albany, New York. Section 3, the town board acting as lead agency for the purpose of compliance with New York State's Environmental Quality Review Act has heretofore made its environmental determination that for the reasons stated therein and pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review of the Environmental Conservation Law and creation of the Southeast Ambulance District 1 will not have a significant impact on the environment, and this town board has therefore heretofore endorsed said findings and determination of significance.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Cullen seconds. Roll call vote, please. Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Wright?
Yes.
Carried unanimously.
Now, Will, is it
Just for the
sufficient?
record,
Go ahead.
Mr. Supervisor, the third document is a final order of establishment, which is the document that will ultimately be recorded, and it recites the same language that was included in the last resolution. And if I could just ask that a roll call be called, and the members voting on that adoption of that final order.
Sure. I make a motion that we authorize the supervisor to execute the final order and to waive the reading thereof. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman
We
Cullen?
probably need a roll call vote on that. Thank you, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Wright?
Yes.
Carried unanimously.
Item 14, John Simpson Road Amendment. Bob, would you read the speed limit reduction, pardon me, Councilman Cullen, would you read the speed limit reduction on John Simpson Road, please?
Right, this is a redo. We did this, I believe, 2 months ago, and there was just a little bit of a typo in it originally, and it was sent back to us by the County Highway Department to just modify it. So I will read the new modified speed limit reduction on John Simpson Road. Whereas John Simpson Road, a county highway, extends within the jurisdictional limits of the town of Southeast from New York State Route 6 southerly terminus to the Carmel town line at its northern terminus, and whereas due to a recent paving and upgrading of this highway, it appears that the speed along this highway has increased beyond that which could be considered safe, and whereas the town has requested that Putnam County reduce the speed limit on this highway, and the county responded by posting the highway at 40 miles per hour. And whereas by letter dated September 21st, 2010, the State of New York Department of Transportation notified the county that it objected to the reduction in the posted speed limit in the town of Southeast to 40 miles per hour without having first conducted an engineering study. And whereas a resolution was passed by this board on March 24th, 2011, requesting that the Putnam County Commissioner of Highways joins in a request to the New York State Department of Transportation to undertake the necessary studies to determine the appropriate speed for the subject highway, and the Acting Commissioner of Highways has requested that the town request be modified to authorize and direct that the Putnam County Highway Department first remove the offending speed limit signs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast hereby authorizes the supervisor to request that the Putnam County Commissioner of Highways remove the existing signage within the town of Southeast, which has established a lower speed limit, and after doing so, make a request to the New York State Department of Transportation to conduct the appropriate engineering study to determine whether it is appropriate to reduce the speed limit on John Simpson Road from its intersection with Route 6 to the Carmel town line within the town of Southeast to 30 miles per hour, and if such study supports the necessary finding, to erect any and all signage or traffic control devices necessary and appropriate to aid in the enforcement of such lesser speed limits along the highway, and be it further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to the Regional Director of the New York State Department of Transportation and the Putnam County Commissioner of Highways and Facilities forthwith.
Thank you. I second. Roll call vote, please, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Wright?
Yes.
Carried unanimously.
Thanks, Ruth. Item 15, resolution regarding security cameras. Councilwoman Hudak, would you like to read this resolution?
Why, certainly. Whereas the town board has caused security cameras and recording devices to be installed in the town hall and other locations, and whereas it is the hope of this town board that the presence of such cameras and recording equipment will enhance the safety and security of the employee, and I just ask that that be modified to employees of the town, as well as that of the general public, and whereas it is also the concern of this town board that the cameras and recording devices not be misused or abused for other than security purposes, and whereas in order to avoid the potential for misuse or abuse, it is the desire of this town board to establish a procedure and protocol for the access and copying of images recorded from such security cameras. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Southeast that unless directed to provide a copy of the recording by a duly recognized federal, state, or local law enforcement agency, all requests for review and/or copying of recordings from the security cameras employed within the public buildings of the town shall be submitted to the Town of Southeast Facilities Manager, who shall, immediately upon receiving such request, submit each such request to the town board. Each request shall state the time period sought and the purpose for which the request for a copy of the recording is being made. Within 24 hours of receiving such request, each town board member shall advise the facilities manager in writing or electronically whether such request is approved or denied. The failure of a town board member to respond in a timely manner shall be deemed as consent. No copy of such recording shall be made or released unless and until a majority of the town board consents thereto. No images from the security cameras shall be used for any purpose other than in connection with an investigation into alleged security breach or unlawful activity within the public buildings.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Councilman Gross seconds. Roll call vote, please, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Wright?
Yes.
Passed unanimously.
Thanks, Ruth. Item 16, Open Space Committee appointment of Mr. Christopher Barber. Is Mr. Barber with us this evening? Welcome. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I make a motion that we approve Mr. Christopher Barber for appointment to the Open Spaces Committee. I'll second.
May I have a discussion? Just a very-
Councilman Gross seconds. Yes, Councilwoman Hudak.
A very brief discussion. I was at the interview when, at the Open Space Committee's meeting, when Mr. Barber came in, and I believe he's well qualified, he's enthusiastic, and I believe that he will be a very good addition to the Open Space Committee, which is very important to our community.
Thank you.
You're
Yes, we
welcome.
have Mr. Barber's resume before us, which is quite impressive. I believe he'll be a municipal asset, so thank you, sir, for your interest in civic service.
Thank you.
Now, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 17, FOIL requests and Board of Appeals. Bob, was this your item?
No.
This was a letter that I sent out to everybody we have one from Greg Azzaretti, one from Paul Johnson, and one from Ms. Eckhart. I don't know if any of them want to speak about this, or I think what they're requesting is this goes to the Board of Appeals.
Well, this would be appropriate for a work session. There's nothing in my material tonight for presentation or
mail you the
vote.
letter,
Pardon me,
Mike.
Ruth. So we don't have, we're not prepared to act on this evening.
I know
But
I
we could be at
am.
a future
Well,
date.
I think what this came from is there's been a lot of emails back and forth that there's been FOIA requests from various town residents, taxpayers, citizens that are requesting information from the supervisor's office, and the FOILs have been denied or just ignored. And, so they're trying to follow up to get the information, and that's what this is all about.
Well, Bob, as we've discussed before, the town records officer is Town Clerk Ruth Massey, and she has a form